Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayed Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 8, The Churning of the Milk Ocean, Text 25. Tasya Shriyastri Jagato Janako Jananya Vaksho Nivasamakarot Paramam Vibhutehe Shri Swah Praja Sakarunena Nirikshanena Yatrasti Dhayatas Sadhipatim Strilokan Yatrasthitai Dhayata Sadhipatim Strilokan. Tasya Shriyastri Jagato Janako Jananya Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Father of the three worlds, and His bosom is the residence of Mother Lakshmi, the Goddess of Fortune, the proprietor of all opulences. The Goddess of Fortune, by her favorable and merciful glance, can increase the opulence of the three worlds, along with their inhabitants and their directors, the demigods. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. According to the desire of Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, the Supreme Personality of Godhead made his bosom her residence, so that by her glance she could favor everyone, including the demigods and ordinary human beings. In other words, since the goddess of fortune stays on the bosom of Narayana, she naturally sees any devotee who worships Narayana. When the goddess of fortune understands that a devotee is in favor of devotional service to Narayana, she is naturally inclined to bless the devotee with all opulences. The karmis try to receive the favor and mercy of Lakshmi, but because they are not devotees of Narayana, their opulence is flickering. The opulence of devotees who are attached to the service of Narayana is not like the opulence of karmis. The opulence of devotees is as permanent as the opulence of Narayana himself. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So this is the description of Mother Lakshmi after she chose Lord Mukunda at the churning of the milk ocean when she appeared. So her qualities are explained here. Tasyaha Shriyaha, Mother Lakshmi Shriyaha, she is the Jananya, she is the mother, and Trijagato Janakaha, the Lord who is the master of the three worlds, he is the father, Janakaha, and she stays on the chest, on the bosom of Narayana. Vaksho Nivasa Makarot, she has made that as her residence. And Paramam Vibhutehe, the Supreme Lord is supremely opulent, and he has given her that place where she shows her opulence to anyone who worships him. Swah Prajaha, Shrihi Swah Prajaha Sakurunena Nirikshanena. So this Shri, the goddess of fortune, she shows that mercy, Sakarunena, by glancing over the devotees. Nirikshanena. And she increases the opulence. Sa Sthita Aidhayata Sadhipatim Trilokan. By her merciful glance, she can increase the opulence of the three worlds along with their inhabitants and their directors, the demigods. So in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that anybody or a devotee naturally is worshipping Lord Narayana, and therefore he is facing Lakshmi Devi, and Lakshmi Devi is bound to give them all opulences. Whereas those who are not devotees, they also get opulences, but they are not real opulences. The opulences given by Lakshmi Devi are real, that is to the devotees. Whereas the opulence given to non-devotees are actually illusory. Then one may say, people all around the world, all around us, there are a lot of non-devotees, and they are getting really opulent. They are having Lakshmi Devi picture in their home, and they are becoming rich. So Lakshmi Devi is bestowing them also, isn't it? So actually not. Why is it? It's surprising, isn't it? Why they have got the opulence? Why you're saying Lakshmi Devi is not bestowing them opulence? So to clarify this further, Lakshmi Devi herself clarifies this. In Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, there are prayers offered by different personalities, one of which is Lakshmi Devi. So she is offering this prayer, this statement, very important statement, where she says, this is 5th canto, 18th chapter, 22nd verse, I just read the translation. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. Whose benedictions? Lakshmiji's benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. But the question still remains. So how they are getting opulent? So Prabhupada clarifies that in the purport. In this verse, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, clearly states that she does not bestow her favor on any materialistic person. Although sometimes a materialist becomes very opulent in the eyes of another materialist. So here is the revelation. Such opulence is bestowed upon him by the goddess Durga Devi, a material expansion of goddess of fortune, not my Lakshmi Devi herself. Those who desire material wealth worship Durga Devi with the following mantra. If you have, in your previous experiences, worshipped Durga Devi, they have these rituals, and at the end of the ritual, they chant this mantra. Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, Rupaveti, Bharyam Dehi. Like that, there is a standard ritual mantra, which basically means, O worshipable Mother Durga Devi, please give me wealth, strength, fame, a good wife, and so on. By pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits. But since they are temporary, they result only in Maya Sukha, illusory happiness. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudhan. Those who work very hard for material benefits are Vimudhas, foolish rascals, because such happiness will not endure. So they get this opulence, but that is Maya Sukha, because that will not endure. On the other hand, the opulence that is obtained by devotees, like Prahlada and Dhruva Maharaj, they achieved extraordinary material opulence. But such opulences were not Maya Sukha. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulence, they are the direct gifts of the goddess of fortune who resides in the heart of Narayana. So this is the difference. For devotees, it is Lakshmi Devi who deals. For non-devotees, it is Durga Devi who deals. So you see in the Krishna book, in the first chapters, the fourth chapter of Krishna book, you are all familiar. So Krishna basically orders Yogamaya to transfer Baladeva to the womb of Rohini. So they all understand that Devaki had a miscarriage. And Krishna said, O Yogamaya, you go and appear for Yashoda, in the womb of Yashoda. And I will go and appear in the womb of Devaki. So now Krishna is born. At the same time, Yogamaya is born. And now Krishna orders to transfer Krishna to Yashoda and Yashoda's Yogamaya to Devaki. So in the night time, Vasudeva goes and they transfer. And as soon as all that is done, Yogamaya baby, she starts to cry. Now suddenly everyone wakes up. Oh yeah, the baby is born. Kamsa has been waiting for this child. And then they call Kamsa. Kamsa comes, the dead of the night. And then he sees, I'm going to kill this child because she is going to kill me. But Mother Devaki is saying, she's after all a girl. How can a girl kill you? It's a boy who is going to kill. So please let me keep this. You killed all these 7 children so far. Please let me keep this baby. He said, no way. And he takes the baby and with his hand, he's about to dash the baby to that big rock. And immediately the baby slips out of his hand. And she appears with 8 arms. And it is said that she is the younger sister of Lord Vishnu, Durga Devi. So interesting, isn't it? She was Yogamaya, but the moment Kamsa grabbed her, she became Mahamaya, Durga Devi. And she is adorned with all these weapons, and she starts to say, "Oh, foolish rascal Kamsa, you want to kill me? You cannot kill me. But the person, the child who will kill you is already born somewhere. So just don't become so upset about your poor sister. Just leave her." And then she escapes, or she disappears. So when the devotee is dealing, it is Yogamaya. When a non-devotee is dealing, it becomes Mahamaya. So during one initiation ceremony, so Prabhupada was naming all the disciples. So at that time, there was another gentleman, another devotee named Siddha Swarupa. He was actually a very young American, Westerner. He was leading another Krishna consciousness movement. He was the guru of a mini movement, and he had a lot of disciples at a young age itself. And he actually saw Prabhupada, and he found that Prabhupada is actual bona fide spiritual master, and he surrendered completely to Prabhupada. He brought all his disciples to Prabhupada. They also surrendered. So Prabhupada started to reinitiate them. So Prabhupada started to give different names. They had already been given different names, like very wonderful poetic names, Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, like that. But Prabhupada started to give different names. One such name he gave was Mahamaya Devidasi. And everyone started to laugh loudly. And then Prabhupada said, "No, don't laugh. You should be very grave. Why do you laugh? Mahamaya is another face of Radharani. They are all servants of Krishna. But when they are dealing with demons, you see Mahamaya with, the Krishna book explains the 8 arms. She's holding this disc, club, shield, and all these kind of weapons to punish these demons. So for a non-devotee, she acts like Mahamaya. Just like the police is your friend, but if you are crossing the limit, the police can act violently and put you inside. So just like that. The other interesting statement Prabhupada makes in that purport that I read from 5th canto is this. So it is said, Prabhupada says there, regarding this Maya Sukha, temporary happiness obtained by non-devotees versus devotees, we have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master, and the spiritual master, being merciful towards him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. So here you see again the difference. Somebody wants material benefit from a spiritual personality, either Krishna or the spiritual master. They will get it, but that is Maya Sukha only. But the real benefit is what? The power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was given to Srila Prabhupada. So there was one memory of one of Prabhupada's disciples. So he was saying like this. So Prabhupada was giving sannyasa to several of his disciples. So this person also got sannyasa. And he had a lot of questions because that's the first time they were ever receiving sannyasa order. They didn't know anything. So he asked Prabhupada, so he's saying, I asked Srila Prabhupada whether a sannyasi should worship a deity while traveling. He said a sannyasi is not required to worship the deity. He said Lord Chaitanya never carried a deity. I asked about the danda. Danda is the staff. Is it a deity? Prabhupada said no. I asked if you could offer food to the danda. He laughed and said no. He said that the danda means with body, mind, and words, you are dedicated to Krishna's service. He said, Harinama is the thing for a sannyasi. The holy name is our only shelter. Always carry your beads and danda. And then it seems Prabhupada told, the first thing is enthusiasm. Don't be dead, he said. You have to work more than me. Anyone who has life, he can preach. I say to my God brothers, you are all dead. You have no strength, no life. What have you done? Because I am trying my best. Blessing is coming from my Guru Maharaj. It is not to be advertised, but seen. So you see how you can have blessing, spiritual blessing or material blessing. Real spiritual blessing is the power to preach. That was obtained by Srila Prabhupada. Many times Prabhupada also would tell how Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even though he built this expensive, gorgeous Gaudiya Matha temples, he was lamenting that his disciples were fighting over the properties and which room I want to stay, which is my position. It is better I would sell this marble, get the money and print books and distribute literature. So he was lamenting like that. You see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in the initial chapters of Adi Leela. There is an episode where he explains to Prakashananda Saraswati. This Prakashananda Saraswati is where? In Benares. He is the leading Mayavadi sannyasi. So he is seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu singing and dancing in madness. Oh, why are you acting like a sentimental fool? You are supposed to read Vedanta and so on and so forth. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him, actually my spiritual master, he saw me a great fool. Guru more murkha dekhi karilo shashan. And then he gave me this mantra to chant this Hare Krishna mantra. And then I started to chant this mantra and I started to feel great bliss and I would go into madness, in ecstasy, and I thought I became mad. And I went back to the spiritual master and asked him, what have you given to me? What mantra have you given to me? By chanting I have become mad. And then my spiritual master told me that, oh, I'm so glad that you got the final result of this mantra, which is Krishna Prema. And then we usually overlook that particular portion of what Ishwar Puri tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's very important, something he tells that is usually not caught. He tells, yes, you chant this mantra, you obtained the result of chanting this mantra. This is the highest ecstasy, highest prema one can ever have. You got the result, I'm very happy about it. And then he also tells something else. So I'm going to read that. So first he said, Bhala haila paile tumi parama purushardha, tomara premete ami hailan kritardha. It is very good, my dear child, that you have attained the supreme goal of life by developing love of Godhead. Thus you have pleased me very much, and I am very obliged to you. And now he says, Nacha gavo bhakta sange kara sankirtana, Krishna nama upadeshi tara sarvajana. So he's saying, My dear child, continue dancing, chanting, and performing Sankirtana in association of devotees. And now comes the part. Furthermore, go out and preach the value of chanting Krishna Nama. For by this process you will be able to deliver all fallen souls. So the important instruction of Ishwarapuri, along with the chanting of holy name, is what? Is to go out and preach. Krishna Nama Upadeshi Tara Sarvajana. So there Prabhupada writes, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains in his Anubhashya, a person who has attracted the attention of the spiritual master by his sincere service likes to dance and chant with similarly developed Krishna conscious devotees. The spiritual master authorizes such a devotee to deliver fallen souls in all parts of the world. Those who are not advanced prefer to chant the Hare Krishna mantra in a solitary place. Such activities constitute, in the language of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, a type of cheating process, in the sense that they imitate the activities of exalted personalities like Haridas Thakura. One should not attempt to imitate such exalted devotees. Rather, everyone should endeavor to preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all parts of the world and thus become successful in spiritual life. So this is the real order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ishwarapuri gave him, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu imbibed that spirit, and he is given to his disciples. It's coming all the way. And only then we are actually satisfying the order of the spiritual master. We get the real spiritual opulence by following which. Otherwise, Krishna will give us material opulence. So we talked about Kamsa's example, we talked about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples' example, and now Prabhupada also quoted third example in that purport of the fifth chapter, fifth canto, which is Ravana's example. In Ravana's case also, just like Kamsa's case, the Yoga Maya became Mahamaya. In Ravana's case also it happened. Anyone remembers at what instance? Huh? Yes. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was touring South India. He goes to southern Mathura, which is called, what is that place? Madurai. So there he meets this Ramadas Vipra, and he invites the Lord for lunch, but it's becoming late and he is not cooking. And he asked, is there any delay? And he said, no, Lakshmana has gone to the forest. He has to bring the fruits and vegetables and roots, and Mother Sita has to cook. And the Lord becomes very happy. So he is absorbed in the mood of worshipping Lord Rama in the forest. He is along with the Lord Rama and in their house and all that. So finally, after a long time, he cooks. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eats lunch at around 3 o'clock. And but this Brahmana is fasting. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes surprised. Why are you fasting? And he is crying. Why are you crying and fasting? And this Brahmana says, my dear Lord, how can I eat? I cannot even tolerate the news that Mother Sita has been touched by this demon Ravana and has been taken away. And I am plunged into this ocean of sorrow and misery. So how can I eat like this? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him, see, Mother Sita is the most pure, the supreme goddess, the consort of Lord Rama. What to speak of touching her? A materialist with a material senses cannot even see her. So the Sita that has been taken away is Maya form. When Ravana came to kidnap Mother Sita, the fire god took her away. Rather, Sita took the shelter of fire god, gave the opportunity to fire god to give her shelter. And fire god presented a Maya form of Sita. And that has been taken by Ravana. So don't worry about Mother Sita. And then he becomes happy and then he has food. prasadam. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes further down to Kurmakshetra, where he studies this Kurma Purana in the association of Brahmanas. And coincidentally, in the Kurma Purana, it is mentioned the same point, that Mother Sita was never kidnapped. It is the illusory form of Mother Sita that was taken away. And so, in those days, they would write on these leaves. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu procures that copy and makes a copy of that, and then brings it back to that Ramdas Vipra and gives it to him, and he becomes elated further. Oh, it has been further proved in the Shastra that this is so. So you see how when a demon tries to take the opulence of the Lord in the form of Lakshmi ji or Sita, it becomes Durga Devi. And Durga Devi may give them opulence according to their karma. According to your karma, according to your pious previous activities, you may get some opulence. But it is Maya Sukhaya, because it is bound to end. But a devotee, when he gets opulence, it's not because of karma. One should not think, oh, devotee getting opulence, devotee achieving some result is because of karma. It is the Lord who is bestowing the devotee opulence. What is the last verse of Bhagavad Gita? Tatra Shri Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno Yatra Pardho Dhanurdharaha Tatra Shrihi Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Bhuti means opulence. The Lord gives the devotee all opulences because it is not anymore under the purview of karma. When we work in the service of Srila Prabhupada, when we attain something, when we get some funds, donations, or we build the buildings, it's not that because I am capable, I am able, because of my karmic ability, I am able to speak like this, I am able to talk and inspire somebody to give me this amount, and I am so intelligent that I can build like this. No, it's not because of my ability. Even though my karma may be limiting, but by the Lord's bestowing the favor, we can be granted so much. Like how Prabhupada, he was trying to purchase this huge building in Jhansi, and the deal was also done. But somehow, some kind of a arrangement, the Lord did not allow that to happen, because he didn't want Prabhupada to settle down in a small place. He wanted Prabhupada to go to the West and build a big empire of Krishna consciousness movement. So our result is not dependent on these 5 factors. Ordinarily, there are 5 factors which contribute to our result, whether we achieve it or not. What are these 5 factors? Okay. Adhishtanam tadha karta, karanam cha prutak vidham, vividhas cha prutak cheshta, daivam chaivatra panchamam. So the place of action, be the performer or our desire, as she said. Karanam, our senses, has to cooperate. Just like a person with a compromised sensual faculties cannot win a sprint, 100-meter sprint. So that he has to have proper senses for it. And he has to have endeavor, proper endeavor. And finally the sanction of Daiva. Karma has to be there. Everything has to be there. But a devotee, even though he may not have all of this, he may attain. But at the same time, one should not become lethargic. We have seen few classes ago. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita, which is that verse 3.30, 3.30, the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, not to become lethargic, to act like a military discipline. What is that verse? I'm also forgetting. Mai sarvani karmani, no. Sanyasya adhyatma chetasa, Mai sarvani karmani, sanyasya adhyatma chetasa, nirashir nirmamo bhutva, yudhyasva vigata jvaraha. So we should work like military discipline to please Krishna and without lethargy. That means we should not think, oh, now I am a devotee, I am not under the laws of karma, so even if I work a little bit, Krishna will bestow me all opulence. That's not how a devotee thinks. A devotee should do every endeavor without lethargy. Oh, I should, they say, dot all the I's, cross all the T's. So I should do everything in my capacity and then depend on the Lord. The result, I am not dependent on material conditions. Result, I am depending on the Lord. But my effort, I put my complete effort. I am not holding anything in my effort. So does it mean I should plan something extravagant in the service of the Lord? So while you have to work without lethargy, it's also important that you should not undertake prayasa. But if the Lord's order is there, then that prayasa is not prayasa. Like for example, Kurukshetra battle. It was the Lord's order. Because it was a very huge thing for Pandavas, a limited set of soldiers to achieve. The task was so huge. By themselves, they couldn't have imagined to accomplish. But because it is the order of the Lord, they were able to accomplish it. They were happy to partake in it. But by themselves, if they wanted to do, that would have become a prayasa. Similarly, I may have a desire, oh, tomorrow I want to start a big temple. So if that is not coming from the Lord's authorization, that becomes a prayasa on my part. Because it's a huge undertaking. But if it comes through the order of the Lord, then it becomes a service, and it is the Lord's duty whether to make it success or failure. So our duty is to always depend on the Lord and dovetail our services in Lord's services. Now somebody, in spite of understanding that the real opulence is the spiritual opulence, but a devotee, we know, unless we become pure, we still have these material contaminations. So they may ask material things from the Lord, isn't it? Yes, Lakshmi Devi is giving opulence for the devotees, Durga Devi is giving for non-devotees. Real opulence is spiritual opulence. But what if the devotee has mixed ambitions? Devotee is not always pure. He is in different stages to come to that purity. So what happens in that case? A devotee is asking Krishna, it is said, akamaha sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradhihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A devotee is approaching the Lord. What does the Lord do in that case? Yes. The Lord, before that, the Lord actually gives whatever the devotee is asking, the Lord gives. Satyam dishati ardhitam ardhito nunam naivardhato yat punarardhitayataha swayam vidhatte bhajatam anicchatam ichchapidhanam nijapada pallavam. So the Lord bestows ardhitam ardhito nunam satyam dishati. He gives. But he makes sure that he does not give something by which this devotee becomes addictive and keeps asking more and more. So Prabhupada mentions, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he quotes this passage where it reveals the Krishna's mindset. What Krishna thinks when a devotee asks for this kind of boon. So he says, when Krishna gives shelter at his lotus feet, so the Lord says, Ama bhaje he is engaged in my service. Mage Vishaya Sukha, but he wants the benefit of material sense gratification. Amruta Chadi Vishaya Mage. Such a devotee is like a person who asks for poison instead of nectar. A bada murkha. That is his foolishness. But Ami Vigna, I am experienced. A murkhe Vishaya Kene Diba. Why should I give such a foolish person the dirty things of material enjoyment? Swacharnamruta. It would be better for me to give him shelter at my lotus feet. And Vishaya Bhulaiba. I shall cause him to forget all material desires. Kamalagi Krishna Bhaje. If one engages in the service of the Lord for sense gratification, Paya Krishna Rase. The result is that he ultimately gets a taste for serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Kama Chadi da Haite Haya Abhilashe. He then gives up all material desires and wants to become an eternal servant of the Lord. It's like Prabhupada gives the example. If somebody is asking some wants to eat earth, the child wants to eat, like he makes this earthen ball and wants to eat. The parent very cunningly takes it out and puts a sandesh in his hand. Because sandesh is the real sweet. It's a the higher taste. So like that Krishna, if you go to Krishna even with material desire, Krishna will miraculously work in your heart so that your impurities are purified and he gives his own shelter. Nijapada Pallavam, his own lotus feet he gives and he covers those material desires or removes those material desires. Icha Pidhanam, Pidhanam means covers. So that is the advantage of going to the Lord. Eventually that person becomes purified. I'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Yeah. No, at all. So her question is, a lot of people go to Tirupati, for example, they are giving dakshina to the Lord or donation to the Lord, and they are getting opulence in return. Is it bestowed by Lakshmi Devi or Durga Devi? See, that's what. If you are a devotee, your result is in control of Lord Krishna personally and Mother Lakshmi. If you are not devotee, then it is Durga Devi who is in control. Krishna will hand it over to Durga Devi. So, whether you are a devotee or not, that conference is done by Krishna and Radharani and Mother Durga Devi there. We don't know how they determine that. But we know for sure that if you accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord and in your heart that is your desire to worship the Lord and become his devotee, then you are a devotee. But if your desire is, no, I want my material opulence, I'm just worshipping just for getting my opulence, I worship Lord Shiva also, I worship everybody, then Durga Devi may deal with it. So, the Lord sees the heart. We don't know on who is classified as devotee, who is not. But the fact that they went there, they get purified. Obviously, they get purified. Eventually, they may become devotee because of Agnata Sukruti. And the Lord may personally take charge of them. So. Devotee is who accepts the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worships him. That is devotee. Who does not accept the Supreme Lord Vishnu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a non-devotee. Yeah, then they are devotee. But not everyone. Not everyone. They consider other demigods also independently the supremes, if you explore further. Or sometimes they may say, ultimately everything is impersonal. This is only some Maya form. Krishna's form is also Maya. All kinds of people will come out if you try to scratch the surface, go into little deep. But there are also devotees who accept Lord Venkateshwara as the supreme and who only worship him exclusively, though they may have material desires. So that determination the Lord only can make. Randharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Govindam Adi Purusham